This is the first lesson in our course in social linguistics. It's about variation, and it's about a certain kind of social linguistics, the social linguistics of variation. And in the next 20 minutes or so, I want to explain what variation is and why it is so important to our understanding of how English works in the world. First, there's a practical exercise that you should have done before watching this, and if not, I want you to do it now. I want you to think about and write down all the names by which you're known. Okay? See how many you can get. Stop the video now and write down those names. Yeah, that's you. Good. Now you've done it? No, you haven't, but still, I've done it. I am known as Anthony, some people, Tony by others, school friends, and then people who knew my school friends, Aunt by my mum, Anthony by my aunt, Cariño by some people, sometimes, Papa by others, Dr. Pim by some people, Professor by others occasionally, Herr Dr. Professor Anthony Pim, sometimes Anthony David Pim, because I have two first names for one family name, which means in the bank I'm called El Señor David. And other things. In a village I'm called El Australiano. In a Chinese restaurant across the road I think I'm El Señor Sin Setas, because I don't eat mushrooms, etc. In my life I have many, many, many names for myself. And you probably found 2 or 3 or 4. If you went back now and you thought about everybody who calls you something, or all those letters that are addressed to you, you might get up to 6 or 7. Now, if we're the same people, why should we have all these different names? Why have different names for the same thing? In this case, a person. And that's the fundamental question of variation. What is variation? Variation just means that there are different ways of labeling or referring or signifying a thing, a person, a concept, an object, a signifier. Okay? Here is a signifier, this image you're seeing. It has many, many different names, many different signifiers. And the difference between those signifiers is variation. What is variation? The use of different things, for different names for different things. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to introduce a few other terms. We can say variation is the use of variants. What are variants? They're the different elements entering into variation. For example, Anthony and Tony are variants, and the use of one or the other would imply variation. Probably the use of Tony implies more familiarity or a different background, or perhaps a different aspect of the person thus named. So there is some semantic value at work as well. So, what is variation? The production and use of variants, allowing semantic effects of some kind, or the identification of a sociological or regional location. Sometimes certain names, if I'm called El Señor Pim or Antoni with a Spanish accent, this particular variant would signify a certain location in the world. Variants are the terms entering into variation, the actual things. And then we move on to what is properly sociolinguistic about this. If we ask, why are some variants used in some places or in some circumstances and not others, the question why will refer to certain factors. Factors might be familiarity. Do we have a close or a distant relationship? Is the relationship professional or family? Is it my son or my daughter or my mother? Okay? These factors, of which there are countless, can be called variables, just to get all the V words out of the way. Okay? Variables. What are variables? A variable is something that varies. Okay? It can be the relationship, it can be distance in the relationship, it can be the age of the person concerned. A variable can be a geographical location. It can be anything that varies. You all know that we speak a certain way when we're sober. We speak a different way when we get drunk. And the variable might be how much alcohol we've had to consume. Okay? In English, variation with drunkenness tends to occur with the S sounds. Okay? I don't know in Spanish. Perhaps you should try it on a Friday or Saturday night down by the Puerto somewhere. See after how many drinks or whatever you happen to take, see which parts of your speech undergo variation according to the variable, drunkenness, or alcohol, or drugs, or something. That's enough. That's it. We've got 3 terms. That's enough for one lesson. That's all it is. Variation, variance, and variables. If you know what those 3 terms mean, we've done the lesson.